Okay, and welcome everybody to Turtle Talk on These Changing Times Radio. And this is the first show for Turtle Talk, so I hope everybody is ready for a fun show. If you have had any uh, experience with Turtle Talk before, you will know that it's an open forum kind of thing. I don't plan any shows. We just take it and we run with it. So if you have any questions out there, if you have anything that you really want us to discuss, please feel free to put it into the chat, and we will definitely get to it and talk about it, because here on These Changing Times Radio, we know that when we talk, when we come together, and when we discuss the issues that affect each and every one of us globally, that solutions are found. And it takes many solutions, and there are many out there. And it's up to us to choose the ones that work for us, the ones that will give us the empowerment we need to make the changes in our lives. So I'm glad to have you all here with us today. And joining me, of course, is Barbara Threecrow, and we have Chief Charles Twodog with us today. And we will be talking here shortly. I think the first thing that we do want to talk about, if it's okay with you guys, is Standing Rock, because it is the issue. And I just want to say that today, earlier, I was watching Fox News. I watch the news channels to see what's going on, especially since we have so much turmoil right now. Fox seems to be the only one that half the time puts something out there that I don't get angry about hearing, the propaganda and stuff. Not that they're not a propaganda network, because they are. Okay, it's load on my end as the other ladies. Not a little low, not as low on my end as the other ladies. Okay, you might try turning up a little bit. Is everybody else having a good time out there hearing me? Are you hearing me okay? You know how it is. If it's
I hear
not
you
broke,
fine, Chris.
yeah, if it's not broke, I don't want to fix it. I don't want to touch it. So I'm gonna, let me see, maybe if I take that off a cue, that might help. No? Yes? Are we going okay now? Just checking. Anyway, I'm gonna keep on going. But I've been watching Standing Rock, and for news on the networks about Standing Rock, and sure enough, today Fox did have a piece on Standing Rock, because, as you know, last night they went after them with water cannons as they were trying to remove a burned out vehicle that was on the bridge, placed there to stop traffic by the thugs that have taken control. And their response to the people of Standing Rock for trying to clear the bridge, which is dangerous to have these vehicles on there, by the way. But their response was to turn on the water cannons, rubber bullets, and all of this stuff. I did see a report. I don't know if it's true or not. It's hard to get news from Standing Rock because they are trying so hard to keep it from going out. But I heard that an elder who was part of the 400 people that attempted to clear that bridge, that she was sprayed with the water cannons at 26 degrees Fahrenheit, and wound up having a heart attack and is in critical condition. But anyway, this wasn't on Fox News. Of course, they didn't say that. It was a hit piece, of course. It seems like the corporate agenda will not allow the truth to come out, and it is heartbreaking to know. They talk about, they call these people who stand with nothing in their hands except for sage and prayers in their hearts, and they call them rioters. Now, they fired tear gas and these smoke bombs at the people, and it started the pastures on fire in several places. Now they had these water cannons that they were spraying the people with, but they didn't turn them on the fires that they started. The water protectors had to go out there themselves and put these fires out. This is craziness. And still we have the news media who is not putting the truth out. They will not put the truth out because we know the corporate agenda is their agenda. What we need to do now, yes, democracy now is the real news. But it's very hard to get live feeds out. Now, last night there was a live feed going on, and I did watch a lot of it. You could hear them firing these rubber bullets, these tear gas cannons, and all of these things. You could hear the people screaming as they were being flooded with this freezing cold water, and you could see the impact of these fires that were happening. But none of this was the protectors. None of this was from the protectors. Yet the Fox News broadcast showed it as if the protectors were the ones who did this. You know, guys, did you watch this? Barbara, did you watch this? Did you get to see that video?
The one where they were spraying them?
Yeah.
With the water? I didn't watch the full video, actually. I just perused through and saw some of the photographs and read about an elder, going into, I guess they had to revive this elder, yes, in 20-some degree weather, and there's no hospitals near there, and they had no cover, I've been looking at these videos all along since this started, and the various things. I started the first incident with the dogs being attacking the people, which was pretty horrific. And on the ground there live was Amy Goodman from Democracy Now!, filming this. And that piece went all over the world. Thankfully, she was there. And, I just keep wondering, well, it almost happened. Somebody's life someone's life was almost taken by these assaults on the peaceful protectors. And, this was just the first level of that. But of course, our concern is that may eventually happen. I hope that it doesn't. I just think that they're using. I think they're getting really pressured and anxious and worried because of the tenacity of the people, of the, it's cold.
They've geared it up. They have
they're
really
gearing
geared
it up. That's why I said it. I felt that was going to happen, and I know the elders there thought so too, because they just last week or a little over a week told the young people, they asked them, they wanted them to leave the camps because they really felt, I'm sure they were getting the messages that this was going to start getting really, really, really violent. And now we see that, with this unheard of, unbelievable tactic to bring fire hoses. Those fire hoses are very forceful. And of course, their excuse is that's why they put out the word they were rioters. They were rioting. That's what they do when there's riots in the street. They take these forceful hoses to hose everybody down. But, we know they weren't rioting. And you've got films. You've got the, people there. Many people are filming this. And so it shows that there are not riots. Of course not. They're just assaulting the people. And, of course, our prayers are that no one's life will lose their life, This came very close.
Well, there's also another thing that's going on. There was a woman from the Anishinaabe tribe who is there, and she did a video. She was sitting in her car at night, and she was saying that there were crop dusters that were flying overhead with canisters, hoses underneath that were spraying the Standing Rock tribe area where the people are, where the protectors are. And she knew what she said was they will turn them off once they pass beyond the encampment. In other words, they will not spray the police or the thugs that are there, but they have been flying over at night, which is against the treaty laws. They have no rights to fly over the land. They've been sending helicopters during the day, planes during the day, and now they're supposedly chemtrailing them at night. So
You really think it's just chemtrailing? I mean, what
well,
think
I'm
about
sure that there's
Agent
toxins
Orange?
in it. Yeah, I'm
It's
sure.
like just, yeah, why not just drop Agent Orange here, Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. They are, I think, I feel maybe other people have a different perspective. They are getting anxious and needing to really, really pressure the people, I think they expected them to all pull out when the weather started to get really severe there, because those Dakota winters are really heavy. It's really hard. Those people live there. That's their home, though. Like they said, we're not leaving. We're not going to stop. And so now that the so-called goons or whoever they are see this, the ones who are sitting at their desks who are watching this, they're just giving the orders, saying, "Yeah, let's just drop poison on them, or let's go in the night," because this was done at night. Not only the spraying, but the water hosing the people. And heavy rubber bullets and canisters, something else, a canister, I don't know, maybe Twodog knows, or anybody else that knows what they're shooting these heavy-duty things at the people, breaking ribs, and, these things are very forceful, rubber bullets and whatever else. And what is they call that sound weapon? They're using that too. It's a frequency.
It's some kind of sound cannon.
It's a frequency, right? A sound cannon that is a very high-pitched frequency that seriously can damage your eardrums. And one woman was saying how she had covered her one ear successfully, but for days afterwards, she had such pain in her ears. These are torturous tactics. Vicious, torturous tactics on a peaceful group of people, First Nations people, along with many nations now, who are fighting to protect the water and their sacred sites, but the water for all people, not just themselves. The Mississippi River there feeds a lot of people drinking water. And they were given the stop. They were given recently the stop, digging until the Corps of Engineers could meet with the Native people to determine or to negotiate or determine whether they would actually go underneath the aquifer or move it, right? And LaDonna Brave Bull said there is no negotiation. That's it, period. We don't want the pipeline here anywhere near us. There's going to be no negotiation. So they're not going to go to the table, and sit there and listen to everything they've always heard, the disrespect and the uncaring about the water or the people or the land or their sacred sites. They don't care. They want to negotiate. Well, you know what that means. Negotiate and get what they want only.
Well,
There's not going to be a negotiation.
Yeah, and I think what's causing the thugs, the pipeline owners, and the thugs that they've hired to gear it up, is because they are putting a lawsuit against the Corps of Engineers, who have said you can't do this, and they're behind schedule. They're losing
big
a
time.
lot
They're losing
of money. Yes. And
that's why they're ramping their
exactly.
Money, the money.
Exactly. And if this doesn't speak to the rest of the nation, if this doesn't speak to the rest of the world that these corporations are coming after a peaceful people, if you think that wherever you are, that your water is safe, if it comes from the Mississippi or not, uh, uh, Trump has said that he will open up the lands, the state parks, um, all of these places to exploration. It doesn't matter where you are. It will be the same with you, and you will either stand up like the people of Standing Rock and fight them and face the same corporate interest, or either you will acquiesce and watch your children sicken and your elders sicken and you sicken until you are unable to fight anyone. This is not just Standing Rock's problem. This is a global problem, and we see this. This is not the first rodeo, so to speak. The tribal people on tribal lands have been fighting this for generations upon generations. It's not just the oil pipelines. It's the ones that come in for the resources that are there. It's the ones that use tribal lands to dispose of their toxic waste so that they can hide these things. Because before Standing Rock, before the people joined together, they were being inundated on tribal lands by this uranium mining, coal mining, all of these things. And it's just not on tribal lands. It's just that the people here, look at Oklahoma with the fracking. Look at, where was it, Pennsylvania with the fracking. Look at Arkansas with the fracking. All of these things that are going on. Flint, Michigan, on and on and on and on. This is not just Standing Rock's issue. This is the world's issue. And if we can come together, and people have been doing great, I want to say kudos to all the people standing across the globe with the people of Standing Rock who are getting the news out, who will not let the news media turn this upon the people as if it's their fault, as if they are in the wrong. I want to give thanks to all those people and keep it up, but we have to keep on going. Sorry about that, and I'll turn it over to you, Twodog.
Well, number one, I'm honored to be with both you today, both you life givers. But let's look at it. Look at it this way. CNN actually threw it out there as well about the water that night that they were spraying on everybody. Didn't mention the elder that had the heart attack or not. But what they're trying to say is it's the protectors that started the fire, and they're pushing this and they're pushing that. Well, only thing the protectors are they're there with their minds and their prayer and their bodies. There's no weapons out there that they are holding right now. And everybody, ever since this thing basically started, the sheriff in one of that county from South Dakota has been lying from the get-go. Number one, they're there to protect the water that if it goes into the Missouri like that, it will go down into the Mississippi. But it's not, what we're saying is that it's not if the pipeline breaks its wind, because it will happen. And it's not, it started on treaty land, yes it did, but it's going to go down into everybody else's water too. So it's going to affect everyone in itself. This is an act, to be honest with you, it's an act of war against the people of Standing Rock, to be honest. Now, what I'm saying and what I've heard is a couple of months ago, Trump himself said if he's elected, this pipeline will go through. The man's putting 500 million to $1 billion in it. So there goes, how do I say? There goes God again, as far as money. Money has become a god, and it's starting to be a malfunction. Barb, what do you think?
I was just muted. Trying to pay attention here. What do I think? Well, yeah, I agree with you. You know, it's happening everywhere. You know, and this is nothing new. Of course, this fighting for the earth, the mother, the resources, the forest, the South America, all over Turtle Island here. You know, everywhere in Asia, you know, Europe, Africa. You have the tribal people, and I would say tribal people or First Nations people there. Wherever we look, the assault upon the First Peoples is huge. It's always been that way, and it seems to have never stopped. And I feel that, why are they doing that? Well, we talked a little bit about what's beneath the mother, you know, the resources that are beneath the mother, and that most of the people were put on reservations here on Turtle Island with all that, we'll call it gold, the bounty, you know, of the mother. The gold resources underneath their feet. And, you know, Patty suggested, and she may be right, that they knew that resources were there and they were just saving it for a time. You know, I'm not sure. It's possible because, you know, the Black Hills, of course, belong to the Dakota, that they gave them that land. Well, they gave them that land. You know, the treaty gave them that land, supposedly, until somebody found, I guess it was Custer, or somebody found gold. So this is happening all over the world, the resources of the mother, and they're just, you know, taking it everywhere, and they have to first get through the people. And the people who stand on the mother are the First Nations people, wherever they are, whether they're in Colombia, whether they're in Africa, Asia, Palestine, it doesn't matter. Here on Turtle Island, they are the keepers, you know, of all of the sacred things, everything, the water, the mother, the green, the fire, the stone, the forest, everything, and the air, you know, all of life. And that's why they're constantly trying to commit this genocide on the First Nations people, wherever they are. It doesn't matter, because they have the key to how to live on the mother. They're passionate about this water, passionate about the lives of their own people, you know, the sacred sites. Why are those sacred sites so important? Those sacred sites have more than just their ancestors there. You know, the sacred sites throughout the whole of the mother are very significant. That's the what we call the sacred web. Upon the mother, all these sacred sites crisscross the whole of the Mother Earth. Every one of those sites is significant. And the First Nations people throughout the whole of the world knew that. That's why they were placed there. And, you know, now we know a lot of the sacred sites have parking lots on them, or they're just tourist attractions. The significance and meaning of these have sort of been lost, and the people have been, you know, corralled into small parcels, and they're hanging on, and they will not let go now. This is really a matter of the future generations. How are they, of all people, black, red, yellow, and white, how are they going to drink the polluted, dirty waters? You know, that's a prophecy. We were talking about prophecies yesterday. You know, one of the prophecies, about when you won't be able to drink the water. Water will be for sale. You know, clean water will be for sale, which isn't really clean anyway, by the way. It's corrupted. Water is corrupted. Its frequency is corrupted, by the way. It's, you know, polluted with fluoride, with chlorine, with putting it into pipes and moving it and forcing it this way and that. That's corrupting the original blueprint of the superior intelligence of that water, or you want to say the frequency of the water. So even if you're drinking bottled water, you know, it's not the water anymore. It doesn't have the signature anymore. You know, everything that they're touching is being corrupted. So I feel that the people, the original people, have the key how to survive and how to live on this earth. And there's others of our brothers and sisters, and I do call them our brothers and sisters because we can't say Matakwe Yasin, which means we are all related, and say, but not those people, because they're messing things up, you know. So they are our brothers and sisters, and they've been their own mind and their own spirits have been corrupted. They're soulless people. They're greedy. Greed to me creates a soulless person because you're owned by that greed. You're manipulated by that. Your mind is manipulated by it. So they're afraid of the people. They're afraid of the wisdom that they have, of how to live in a sacred manner upon this Mother Earth, of how to care for the coming generations, how to prepare. Everything that we do will affect our children, our grandchildren, and so on and so forth, for all people, you know? So they have the key. That's why they've been working to genocide them all over the world.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here real quick because Jean Paul says that for some reason my mic is not muting the way it should because I was muted, yet he could hear the door opening and shutting. So we're going to take a quick song break, and I'm going to see what the heck is going on with this. So we'll take a quick song break, and we will be back. If you want to be a hero, hey, don't follow me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right?
Well, hi, I am Nature. It's good to have you in chat for the first time. And Jean Baptiste, thank you for your input. I don't know what is going on because I am muted and I don't understand how it's still going out on air because in Skype they can't hear me when I'm muted and they can't hear any of that noise that you can hear. So I'm quite puzzled by this. I'll try to work on that, but if I start messing with Sam right now, I think we'll all be in trouble. I have to get my techies with me. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I want to move on now to another topic. Anyone who has anything that they'd like us to discuss, please feel free to put it in chat. But right now I want to move on to the Pope. Yeah, and his little revelation today that he will give his priest, because you know the Pope talks to God, right? And he discusses issues with God, obviously, because he has come today and said that he gives his priest the ability to absolve people who have abortions from the killing of innocents, which the quote Catholic Church is so against. It's kind of crazy to me. What I want to get in touch with the Pope, because if he's talking to the Creator on a daily basis like this, I want to get on maybe we can Skype chat together, and I can ask him some questions, because I do have some questions that I would really like to ask the Creator about this Pope. You know, I'm just saying. I think if he has the ability to speak to the Creator, and he does it on a daily basis, we should all be in on this. I mean, we can go to Twitter, you know, or something like that, you know. What do you guys
Twitter.
think? Yeah, yeah.
This is my favorite subject, our Popey. Yeah, you know me, how I feel. Grew up in Catholic, went to Catholic school, grew up a Catholic, and that was another life, and certainly, but, you know, it makes me feel insulted as a woman, and as a sovereign being, to have some man in a white dress and pointed white hat, does that sound familiar? And many other jewels and so on, wealthiest, corporation in the world there, that Vatican. It makes me feel insulted as a woman. I have a right to my own body. I have a right to determine what I need to do, what medicines I need to take, where I can go, what I want to do with my own body, my own choices. I'm a free, sovereign human being. My creator that's who I connect with. Nobody stands in between me and my creator, Great Spirit. Nobody, especially someone in a dress with such a history, of the burning times and the violence and the murders and the pedophilia, and I don't need to go on. But yes, he's given, he already did this. There was a special period of time, I don't know, last year, it has a certain name, I don't know what it was, that he allowed bishops to forgive women, and they didn't say people, they said women, abortions, right? So that they would not be excommunicated from the church. That right off the bat, is pretty revolting. So, you know what? I think people are leaving the church. So many people are leaving the church and waking up to the lies that now what they have to go to the lengths to forgive women so that they won't be excommunicated, because they need these people in church. They need the money. They need the bodies and so on. They need to have that control over people. So it's just an insult to the people. So some man has to tell a woman God will forgive her, and she then will come back into the church, and then we'll work on you more so you can be sure to go to heaven. Give us more money or whatever. Give us your whole life, your mind, your body, and your soul.
Yeah, well,
so there you go.
Yeah, well, the Pope, he doesn't have any claims on me, and I was force-fed Catholicism, forced to go to Catholic school when I was a child, up until about the third grade. My brother, being the rebel that he was, managed to get kicked out before he was even in for 6 weeks. Lucky dude that he was. But I was forced into Catholic school, and being the kind of person that I was, even at a young age, I made enemies of the priests because I had questions that they didn't want to answer. And I remember one time when I approached the priest, because I wanted to know, why do I have to call you father, because you're not my father? And he totally ignored me, This was after we had to wear our little white beanies on Friday because it was a Good Friday thing, and he would come to our school and we all had to go to the auditorium and sit there like good little kitties in our little uniforms and do the math. Well, I wouldn't go to the confession because I didn't believe in that. I wasn't going to tell anybody. If I did anything wrong, that was my business. Wasn't your business. I got in trouble at home. I ain't worried about you. You ain't got nothing to do with me. And so I was in trouble for that always, because I had to sit there and he'd tell me, you'll sit here until you come to confession, because all of us would have to sit in a nice little row, and so I'd sit there half the day until he got bored or wanted to leave, and he'd finally leave. But he and me didn't really get along very good. And the one day that I asked him, why do I have to call you father? He just flat out, you could see the anger in his eyes, and he turned around and walked away. And it was right after that I wasn't long for that school, and I got in a lot of trouble because I was a heathen, yeah, I've never been on good terms with the Catholic religion. And, my mother, we were spiritual. We lived on the land. Our life was with the land, and that was my creator. That was my life, and I knew and I learned from nature what the creator was all about. And I was a strong person of mind and body, even to the anger of my mother sometimes, that I was such a strong-minded child. But she never she never forced me to go anywhere other than this Catholic school. And when it was done with, she never, she never chastised me for getting in trouble, other than to say, you should have respected the priest. And well, I didn't believe in that anyway. But I'm one of them strange people that if I respect you, it's because you deserve my respect, not because you have a name or a title. But anyway, learning what I did from the Catholic religion, I did go and try my luck at other religions, but I always felt that there was something missing, that I could not make a connection with the Creator through these venues. I could listen to these people speaking, and some of them said really good words, and it touched my heart. But I never did get the part about I was not worthy, because I knew I was, because I lived with the Creator on a daily basis. He was part of me, and I was part of him, her, it, whatever. So after my run through, I might have been 16 years old, and I had been through just about every religion out there, and I did learn a lot. I had a lot of questions. There were some who had the patience and the tolerance to sit with me and try to explain their doctrines and things to me, and I appreciate that. But I learned at that age that I was okay, that my spirituality could stand on its own, that I did not need to have a book or a person tell me who I was and where I came from. And in that, I've always been able to stand on my own in my spirituality. There's not anything that can shake my belief. My belief hasn't ever changed. It's evolved to the point of a greater understanding, but it has never been in question to me. Oh, am I on the right track? Maybe I need to this or that. I've never had that issue. But today we find people everywhere who are in search of that part of themselves, that connection that shows them who and where they come from. And they look to the religions to be able to satisfy that need within them. And what we have here now that I see within the Catholic religion is confusion, is constant chaos in their doctrine, in their ability to have a static, let's say, form of spirituality. And I think this is damaging to the people. I really do. I think it keeps them in chaos. I think it keeps them in a place of feeling unsure about their own being. And it shouldn't be that way. We should not have to hear a pope get on a pulpit or anyone else stand up and say that you have the right to be who you are. No matter what you believe, that pope has no right to say that the Creator said, because I speak with the Creator and the Creator lives in me, so I know what the Creator is about in my spirituality. And I know that if I were a person who decided to go have an abortion, that would be between me and my Creator, and no one on this earth, no one would have the right to tell me whether I was right or wrong. If I didn't want to have an abortion, if I felt that it was wrong, that would be my right, and no one on this earth would be able to tell me. If I wanted to be gay, no one on this earth could tell me I couldn't, And I think this is just creating more and more chaos for people. They are looking for someone else to tell them it's okay to be, and no one out there has the right to tell you who you are and where you come from. That is your search. That is your determination by what is in your heart and in your mind. and in your spirit, you know? Just saying.
You know, ladies, to be honest, when we was to accidentally just forget to speak English, we were beat or worse, okay? And for someone to say that a woman has no spirituality and cannot speak to God or creator or master of life or whatever you call him, when it states to let you women be silent in church, okay? And a lot of our elders right now can't love their children for what has been done by that. Now, in my viewpoint of it, especially when I watched this elder crying his eyes out because he spoke his language and beat half to death, it does make me cry. But here's the deal. If you think about the clan mother system and how this worked for us, they tried every kind of way that they could to take that away from us and put into that. Where the man was the only one that could talk to God. The women cannot preach, or they couldn't do anything. Like, the Great Spirit doesn't talk to women. And I was out of my mind with that. Because, of course, he speaks to us all. And the Creator has a teaching tool under every leaf and rock out on this earth mother. So it's been a malfunction, including for me. So go ahead, lady.
Go ahead, Barb. You have anything you want to put in there?
Yeah, just listening and thinking about this, to me, it's about this is a long journey here. Centuries and centuries and centuries of assault upon the sacred feminine. And why I say sacred feminine, because this is about women, and we are sacred. We're, daughters of the Great Spirit. We are life givers, givers of life. We carry the water in our womb. We're protectors of the waters. We're keepers of the waters. We were clan mothers. There were clan mothers of the matrilineal system throughout. But you go back to Europe. Start over there. Go back. I'm talking about centuries and centuries ago. Because the original people there on the other lands were all really the same. Before the controlling factor started to ramp up and needed to control the life givers, needed to control the wisdom and the power of the mothers, the aunties, the grandmothers, who knew, they held things in balance. And our brothers are sacred too, the sacred masculine. So to me, it's just like been a long journey of this assault upon the sacred feminine, and a corporation or faction of male dominators who basically put women in a position where they had no rights. The European women came here to this paradise, to Turtle Island. Those women had no rights. They couldn't work. They couldn't hold money. They couldn't go to school. They certainly couldn't vote, as we know. It's only been, a couple hundred years that women here in this country on Turtle Island could actually vote. And what about the women? The women here in this country, what are they standing up for? See what we have in the entering into the White House now. We have, it's not just Trump. You have Pence. Basically, Pence is involved with the Christian, the supremacy Christian evangelicals. They want to bring us back to the medieval times. They're anti-women. They're against Planned Parenthood. They're against anything that might help a woman be sovereign. So I'm looking at this long journey of this assault upon women. Can't even have your own thought or idea. You cannot speak. Yes, and like Twodog says, their belief is that, of course, God wouldn't speak to a woman, but here in Turtle Island, yeah, the women were clan mothers, and, they chose chiefs, or they could oust a chief if the chief wasn't really functioning for all the people, if that chief was corrupt. The women had this position. They were respected as life givers. So when the Europeans came here, they saw paradise, but they also saw the clan mother system, and they had to really get rid of that fast, because the women that came here on the ships with them, on the boats with them, they didn't have any rights. When the women were fighting for the suffragettes were protesting and fighting for the right to vote, white women fighting for their right to vote, do you know that they were knocked about? Some of them were, a contingency of them were in front of the White House protesting for their right to vote. And men came along. Some of them were, Army and Navy men and others in the streets, and started beating up on those women. And those women were arrested. Those women were force-fed? Torture. They were force-fed because when they were in prison, they stood strong, just like the women at Standing Rock. The white women stood strong for their right to vote. And do you know they were force-fed? They were strapped down into chairs in jail and force-fed. What a torture. That was done to the white women that came from Europe, where their husbands had all the rights, and the church said, whatever. The church said that God speaks to only the men, the women have to be quiet, we tell you what to do with your body or what you cannot do with your body. And the husbands and brothers and all that stood right there and said, yes, that's correct. So again, to me, it's like they came to paradise here where things were in harmony and balance, and there was respect for the women and as life givers. And they've been working, very hard to destroy that. And like Twodog says, they haven't destroyed it because it's really rising again. And many of the tribes did maintain that, especially the Eastern Woodland people, did still maintain their clan system. So it just is amazing to me that today you have a lot of women who have fallen into that same type of mindset against their sisters. And that it's okay for a president of the United States to talk about, grabbing someone by their genitals, and other people say, well, it's not a sexual assault, or we are the ones that are going to make the laws upon women to control these women. The burning times. Just check out the burning times. 9 million women were burned at the stake. It started in Europe and it came here, the witch trials. 9 million women, okay, because they were called witches, but they had wisdom. They were, herbalists. They were connected to the sacred ways, to the ancient ways of their mothers and their grandmothers and their great-grandmothers. So, I'm saying about today how I see some women, our sisters who are lost, standing right beside, Mr. Trump there and saying, it's no big deal. Or those voting for him or voting for these other people, that what happened, what happened to these women? That's a very evil energy. I'm looking at this as an energy, an evil, evil thing.
I think, though, that in mentioning Trump and the way that he feels of women, we also have to say on the same hand, just to be clear, that Hillary is not a woman's woman either, that she has done her fair share of battering women and of allowing men to get away with mistreating women. And in saying that, I want to add to, I believe in the clan mother society. I believe in the clan mother's ability to rule. I believe in the structure that was the clan mothers. But in this time, right now, we have so many women who have so much anger in them against men. And this is wrong also. It is not about one or the other. In the times of the clan mothers, there was a unity between the men and the women. And the men and the women honored each other for the things that they brought and the gifts that they held. There was a purpose for each and every individual, man or woman. Excuse me. And today we don't have that purpose anymore. It's been clouded. Today, because of the rule of law, because of because of religions and of all these things, we have so much confusion between the roles of man and woman that we are galvanized against each other. This is wrong. We are together a complete unit, and Creator has made us that way. And that is lost in both men and women today, rulers and non-rulers. There is no more cohesiveness between the two. Even in a lot of our own people, we have this issue. And it's why we have violence against women. And because they have lost that ability to see that together we become whole, that each one is just as important as the other. And I think that our leaders in governments have done a great job of creating division between families, between husbands, between wives, between tribal leaders and the clan mothers. Today we have a society in our clans, in our tribes, where the men who are chiefs are the speakers who make the rules, who go to the councils, who go and bring the case against the government to the government. Where are the women? Why do the chiefs not bring the women? Why are they not part of this process? It is because it has been purposely designed that way. And this is the battle. It's not about Trump being a womanizer. It's not about, because every president, everyone in political power, no matter who they've been, have been womanizers. Women have been treated as objects for a very, very long time and have been disrespected.
And that's absolutely, I totally agree with you. That's my point about this has been a long journey. And you have the women lost to this as well. And definitely Hillary is definitely one of them, yeah. For sure. I agree.
If you don't mind, Patty, I'd like to add to that.
Yes, go ahead.
Because in my nation, when I was elected in, the first thing I did was bring back the grandmothers and the clan mothers and to reinstall the clan mother system in the Metro Oracle Society. And when I do meet with them, with anyone, if I meet with anyone, the women are there too. In my nation, we're working that way again. I may be the only one, I don't know. But only thing I can tell you is that it's back in mind. So if I meet with anyone as a leader, they're there with me. So I wanted to let you know that I at least am trying to get it back all the way.
Yes, I know, Twodog. Ever since you have created your nation, your tribe, and then taken the chief's position in your nation, you have always referred to the clan mothers, and that is as it should be. Yes, I give honor to you for that, but it's not so everywhere, is it?
No.
With the tribal peoples, it's
That's
not
sad,
so.
it's true.
No,
Yeah.
it may not be everywhere, but I did my part in this nation to do just that. Because if it's not going to be Oway, then what do we got if it's not who we are? It is who we are.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring that back, and that was the first thing we got done.
Yes, and Tracy, she says the systems that were forced on the people on this continent almost completely took over everyone everywhere. She's exactly right. We were not the first
Yes.
people to be usurped. We are some of the last people. I've spoken on this before. The tribal people were once all over the globe. Every continent was tribal, and it worked well. You had the Irish, the Scottish, Brian law, all of these things. You look at Africa and the systems that they had in place also. They ruled man and woman. They created great wealth within their own countries. They were usurped. All of us were. It's not, this isn't new. What is happening right now, it is a agenda, manifest destiny that has been forced upon each and every indigenous culture. And we were all indigenous at one time. There was not a white race that was not indigenous. There was not a red race that was not indigenous. There was not a yellow race that was not indigenous. There was not a black race that was not indigenous. We were all tribal at one time. We have been usurped over and over and over again. Generations gone, generations past. I've said it before, in 3 generations, they can take the memory of your culture from you, and your children 3 generations from now will not remember who or where they come from. This has been done, and it's being done now. We are fighting tooth and nail to keep the cultures that we have, and we are under the gun. We are in a war to save our cultures here and in New Zealand and in Australia, everywhere that there is still indigenous peoples. All of them are being usurped. They are being assimilated by force. They are being starved out. Their environments are being destroyed, forcing them into this system that we call governments, no matter where you are. This is not something that is new. This is ages old. And we have to remember that each and every one of us must stand for each and every one of us when we stand up. The clan mother system that was part of our heritage was part of every heritage at one time. And the reason being is because the clan mothers, like you said, Barb, we are part of the earth. We are the water carriers. We see life in a different way than men do. That's not wrong. It doesn't mean that the men are wrong. The men see life as they should see it. Because if we did not have these 2 opposing views of life here on this planet, we could not exist. We would not have existed. We could not have moved forward. We could not have formed our tribes. We could not have made it, you know. There is a reason why there is a man and a woman. There is a reason for our creation. And this is the part that we have to remember, that we have to hold on to the fact that we are both united. When man and woman both unite, that is where the power truly lies, you know?
But to me, it's that what you're talking about, and I've talked about this too, is that partnership. That standing side by side partnership, being together, respecting each other. We can't make it if we're at odds with each other, men and women. We just cannot do it. We were meant to be side by side. We were meant to be that partnership and that relationship partnership, caring for each other and respecting each other. It wasn't that the clan mothers didn't respect Tracy, I love men. Big fan.
Yeah,
And
have
I
you
do
seen her
too.
Facebook
So,
pages, her Facebook posts?
yeah. Yeah, I do too. It's not that the clan mothers felt superior. It's not that the clan mothers looked down upon the men. As you said, Patty, there's something different, a different connectedness that women have to as life givers and healers and protectors as well, and the men have that different connection, all meant to be in harmony and balance. Everyone had a purpose and a place, but it was a side by side partnership, a connectedness, a respect, and a realization that Creator set this up. you know, and Creator, Mother, Father, by the way, set this up, so that things would be in harmony and balance, that the people,
Exactly.
You're right, yeah. Yeah,
No,
I
continue
feel
on.
that,
I was just agreeing.
oh, no, I was just saying, as far as loving men, our, we talk about the wound that the women carry, we carry the wounds of our mothers and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers, And we also carry the wound of what's being done to the Mother Earth. But our brothers carry a wound as well. From the time we're little girls, we're programmed and brainwashed to behave and to look and to act like certain things that will fit the status quo that the agenda has set up. And our brothers, our fathers, our grandfathers had the same training, same brainwashing. To me, it's sort of like the killing of the people's spirit, your true nature. If you just leave children of color in a room together, little people there, they just play with each other. They're just in awe of each other, That's how we start out. There's no prejudices, There's no hatreds. There's no like, I'm better than you, or, oh, you're a girl, you're not good enough. This is all imprints, brainwashing imprints, to keep us deliberately, to keep us at each other's throats, to keep us, like discouraged or unhappy with each other, so that that partnership and that beautiful sacredness between men and women can't take place. To me, that's a very big piece. Just saying.
Ladies,
Go ahead.
to be honest, number one, I'd like to say Sagulli's gonna go to you, Tracy, and Tai Chi Healim, my girl. But this is the thing. Tracy and I have done many shows about the men and the women together. And the thing about it is, for the man and the woman tribally, we must work together for the benefit of the whole, because in all my spirituality, I don't just think of my child. I think 7 generations from me. I want the best for my child, my grandchild, my great-grandchildren, my great-great-great-grandchildren, and so on. The thing about the man and the women is we've both been hurt right now. And to be honest, no matter how peaceful I may talk, I have a lot of scars on me and in me, that I have been talking with Tankashila over. The thing about it is, we have to look at each other, male and female, sacred man, sacred woman, and walk hand in hand, one mind, one heart, one spirit, and to take care of who we are, and to get back at tribal thinking that we got to work together or it don't work. And that's just saying. Patty?
Well, I think what we'll do right now, we'll go ahead and go to a break. I do want to give a shout out to Trace Elements Radio for simulcasting the show, and give a great thanks to Tracy. She works so very hard to make sure that things run smoothly for me, and you just don't know how much that means.
Oh, Patty, before you go, I want to give one more shout out to her, just for a second, and then we'll go, I swear. When I actually was told about my position in my nation, I was actually thinking whether I was going to take it or not, and I spoke with Tracy about this, and if it wasn't for her, I might not have took his thing. So you know, much press to you, Trace. Thank you so much, honey. Go ahead, Patty.
Okay. And we will be back. I'm going to play a little bit of song. You know I like the oldies and the goodies, right? This is from the Marmalade, if you remember that group, and it's Reflection of My Life. And
Yeah.
this is dedicated. They dedicated this song actually to the Vietnam vets. So, and that's for Ham Radio Dude out there. We'll see you on the other side. You're listening to Turtle Talk on These Changing Times Radio.